Everyone, I'm Vicki Murphy. I am a Jira Align specialist with Valiantys, which is a platinum solutions partner with Atlassian. And in this video, I'll be breaking down the updates to Jira Align with the release of version 11.14. This version was released to Jira Align instances on the continuous release track, which will typically be your test or dev environment on July 18th. 2025, and it will be released to all other instances of Jira Align on August 1st, 2025. Let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to start off with a few updates to the beta roadmap functionality. Just some background here. This year, Atlassian is really focusing heavily on improving the roadmap's experience within Jira Align. Several releases ago now, they unveiled their beta roadmap, and just a couple releases ago, they made this available to enable in both your sandbox and production environments alongside the legacy roadmap functionality. Over the last several releases, including this one, Atlassian has continued to make enhancements to this functionality as we see it come closer in feature parity, not only with what we could do through the legacy roadmap functionality, but also closer to the other road mapping solutions on the Atlassian platform, like the Jira Plans functionality. This release, Atlassian has implemented some of the changes already, and several others will be released throughout the rest of version 11.14. So let's start with what we can actually see here in the tool today. Here I am in the roadmap view, and what we have is a new column available to us, which if we go to the columns section here, we can click on progress. Enabling this will display this mini progress bar, which is going to indicate a loading progression of completed work based on the associated work items and some administration settings, which I'll show in just a moment. Not only can we visualize this mini bar, but we can also click on this to see more details. First, we'll see general information like the title, as well as the start and completion date. And then we're going to see information around the overall progress here. This is going to display a progress completion percentage, which is going to be based off of one of two metrics. This could be based off of accepted story points, as you see here. So in this option, the tool will be looking all the way down the hierarchy. I'm looking at my epics here, but it will be going all the way down to the stories that are linked to features and linked up all the way to these epics that have been estimated for the total points and then completed for the completion percentage. The other option we have is the total is based off of the completed child items. In this scenario, it would only go down one work level into the features and show us how many have been completed. I'll show you how you can choose between these two in just a moment. This does work for every layer of the hierarchy that we have available in the roadmap. So if I expand this, I will see my feature, and this will go down into my story level specifically. Additionally, if you are viewing the objectives work items on the roadmap here, the progress bar will be based off of the key results progress. And this key results progress is tracked through that check-in functionality on our key results. Right. Let's jump over to the admin settings real quick, and I'll show you how you can choose between story points versus completed work items for this progress setting. We will go to the admin settings, then we will find platform on the left-hand menu, and then we'll go to portfolio specific configuration here. Next, we'll choose our portfolio. And then a little ways down, we will see the progress bar status. And here's where we have two options, progress by story points and progress by count. Now, one thing to be aware of is this is going to impact any type of progress bar you see throughout Jira Align. Most commonly, we see these on our work item details panels. If you're looking at epics or features, it will show you the progress, again, by one of these metrics. So just be aware you are impacting more than just that roadmap module here. If you do make an adjustment, be sure to press Save Settings, and then you would repeat that process for any of the applicable portfolios. All right, let's go ahead and jump back to that roadmap view. As I mentioned towards the beginning here, Atlassian has also given us some expected updates that they plan to release throughout the month period where they will be doing continuous deployment for version 11.14. They are performing some additional testing to make sure these are ready to be used before they release them, and they will update the release notes with specific dates as they have them. What they did provide in the release notes today are some screenshots of this functionality. So I'm going to toggle between looking at the roadmap here and those screenshots for the next few updates. What we can expect to see in later this month is some updates to how we can interact with the start initiation and target completion date fields. Right now, these are static fields, meaning if we want to open these up, we would have to open up the work item details panel and make adjustments. Atlassian will be adding the ability to make inline edits here. It will look a little something like this with a date picker field when we click into the date itself. Additionally, Atlassian will be adding the suggested dates functionality. This will be a button next to our columns settings, as you can see here. And when we click on this, we will enter suggested dates mode. This will look a little something like this. What will happen when we are in suggested dates mode is the system will start to suggest dates based off of the program increments associated to the work items. For any start or target completion field that is blank, the system will suggest the start date of the earliest PI associated with that work item and the end date of the latest PI associated with that work item as that start or target completion date. If you have a date already filled in, the system will not override that. And for us to really have a clear visual on what is suggested and what is not, any suggested date will be in italicized if the fields are displayed, and the roadmap bar will be this candy cane pattern. This is very similar to Jira Plans if you're familiar with that functionality. Additionally, there's a couple other visual indicators like the notification at the top here and the suggested dates lozenge next to the Epic roadmap or the roadmap title here. When we are in suggested date mode, if we want to accept a suggestion, we can click into that date field, make the selection of the specific date it is suggesting or a different date, which the specific date it is suggesting will be auto-highlighted for us. What this will do is we'll see a flag here indicating that we have made a change, and then it will also impact the roadmap bar, as you can see over here. Changes in suggested mode will not automatically save. We will have a button to press to say we want to save these changes, and then we will have to confirm them. Anything that you do not select the specific date for and confirm will not be saved to the official version of the roadmap, and it will not impact your work items. All right, let's jump back into Jira Align, and we're going to jump back into the admin settings for a couple more updates. We're going to start out by talking about some of the roles, permissions. So we'll go to roles, and then we'll choose a specific role here. I'm already on the super admin role. And starting off, we will have an update to the settings around creating and updating both portfolio epics as well as capabilities. So these will be at the portfolio and solution tier, but we will see the same update when it is fully released. From here, we'll go down to the manage section, and then we'll look at epics here. Throughout this release, what we will see is this add/save button or setting here is going to split into two. If you aren't familiar with these settings, the add setting gives users the permission to create new work items, and the save setting gives us permission to actually update those items. Other work items in Jira Align, like features, for example, do have these already split, meaning that some users might be able to create new work items at that level, but they might not be able to update them. This is a really common request of how our customers often want the tool to behave at these upper levels where maybe many people need to suggest new epics, for example, but only a select committee is going to evaluate those and update them as they move forward. So what we will see is these will be separated and added to the end of the settings here. Additionally, if we jump down to that program tier, this is where we'll see we already have that add and save setting already separated, but the change we will see here is more in the back end. There's not a new setting here, but Atlassian is shifting how the copy features functionality works. Previously, you would have to have the save functionality in order to copy a feature. Going forward, you will only have to have the add functionality. Again, this is Atlassian hearing the feedback of customers wanting to give certain groups of people the ability to create new work items, copy existing work items, to make those new items, but not necessarily always have the ability to update those work items once they are created. All right, and then we'll jump up into the log section here. Atlassian recently announced that they will begin to archive audit log entries greater than 13 months old, which is expected to significantly improve the performance of the audit logs functionality and other pages in Jira Align. This archival does mean that the audit log entries will not be visible through the UI or the API, but they will still remain visible in the database tables, which are accessible through Enterprise Insights. In this release, Atlassian has added this notification banner up at the top of all of the logs pages, giving admins a heads up that this will be happening. And they also announced that these changes will be rolled out using a phased approach. Atlassian mentioned that they will provide more details on what versions we can expect some of these changes to occur in over the coming weeks. All right, jumping into the slides for just a couple more updates. First, Atlassian is now adding fixes to the Jira connector into their continuous deployment model. Earlier this year, Atlassian switched to this model for Jira Align functionality, which allows them to find quicker resolutions and deployment of bug fixes for Jira Align, and this will now include fixes for the Jira connector specifically. Additionally, a reminder of the upcoming end of support for the Jet4 Jira app. This is a free app that Atlassian has historically used to help organizations evaluate their configuration in Jira as they are looking to sync to Jira Align. This does not actually connect to Jira Align and should not impact any of your Jira Align or your Jira configuration and user settings, anything like that. Atlassian is retiring this app as it's built on their Connect platform, and they are switching over to their Forge platform. We will see this move to end of support on September 17th, 2025, with full removal by the end of the year. And that is all for the version 11.14 for Jira Align. Thank you very much.